What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into the Moon Knight 2022 annual. This is Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night. Probably a great time to bring this into the fold, especially with Werewolf by Midnight just making its debut on Disney+. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend that you go do so. Having Elsa Bloodmoon, Man-Thing, and Jack Russell, aka the Werewolf. It's an absolutely phenomenal 40-minute movie. It's honestly one of my favorite things that Marvel has done since Loki. Not only that, we have Halloween that is just around the corner. This story, it doesn't necessarily tie into anything that is currently ongoing with the Moon Knight series. So this isn't necessarily a story that you need to continue on with the series. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with Moon Knight and Reese. With Reese letting him know that there is some crazy lady outside with absolutely no manners, and she is trying to get in to see you. With Moon Knight saying to let her in, not knowing who it is. This is Marlene. Marlene has come because something has happened. For those that don't know, Marlene is the mother to Moon Knight's child. They've been in Paris, they have been hiding away, making sure that nobody will come for them, trying to live a normal life as much as possible. But right now, she needs to talk to Mark. Well, Jake really wants to have a discussion with her. There is danger afoot and she needs to speak with him immediately. She needs help in killing someone because someone has kidnapped Moon Knight's daughter. The kidnapper is Jack Russell. The werewolf has his child. That is where we pick up with the werewolves. Right now, they are currently arguing amongst each other. That is because they have Moon Knight's child. They know what this means. That means Moon Knight is coming for them. They know exactly what Moon Knight will do to anybody that crosses him. And now they have kidnapped his kid. And while some of them try to say that they are not scared of Moon Knight, Jack Russell lets them know that they need to be, because Moon Knight is a very dangerous man and they do have his daughter. He is the sheriff to their slave master, Khonshu, the moon god, the one that cursed them to being werewolves. Moon Knight is the boot on their necks, created to oppress them. At least that is what Jack Russell believes. But that is why they are here to do what they are doing. Jack Russell has become king of all wolves. He read from the Darkhold and he kept his sanity. He fought challengers from leadership from all packs in North America. He won the sacred rites at the conclave. He proved himself in battle. While many of the other werewolves, they don't believe in the prophecy. To him, it does not matter. What he needed was the title of King Werewolf to be able to fulfill the prophecy that he wants to do, being king of all werewolves. This was the most important thing because Jack Russell plans to set all of them free. Picking back up with Moon Knight, he is absolutely losing it, being filled in on everything else that happened. Marlene tells them that they came back just for the funeral of her ex-husband. They were safe in France, but they got ambushed once they found themselves out in the open. Recognizing Russell's voice, telling her to have Moon Knight come find us. Marlene being very harsh, saying that this is all Moon Knight's fault. And so while they prepare to head out and move out, we are picking up with Jack Russell and Moon Knight's daughter. You see, Jack Russell, he needs her to be able to kill Moon Knight. And while she tries to let him know that she needs to be let go, he needs to let her free because her father will come. She doesn't necessarily think that Jack Russell is a bad guy. By the time that they have spent all this time together, she really thinks that he is an okay individual, that he may have done some bad things, but it's not too late for him to turn this around. But for him, there are far worse things than dying. They are slave to a god who has bound their people, cursed with a disease to his service, bound to them by his symbol, to the moon. When the moon is full in the sky, his slaves, they lose control, they lose their minds, and they turn into the berserkers of Khonshu. These are his shock troops in his war of the night. With his fists bearing silver, he keeps them in line. And so what Jack Russell is trying to do is free his people from the burdens of being a werewolf, from no longer being under the thumb of Khonshu, and to be able to do all of of this. He needs the daughter of Moon Knight. He needs the daughter of the Fist of Khonshu. This is where Moon Knight, he goes to Hunter's Moon, the other Fist of Khonshu, trying to figure out what Jack Russell might be up to, wondering if it is possible that they could kill Khonshu. This is when he tells him of the prophecy, because Hunter's Moon, unlike Moon Knight, he has all the memories of prior Khonshu fists. But even remembering the prophecy, knowing exactly what it says, he lets it be known that it shouldn't be possible. One of the dictates of Khonshu, a fist is a weapon. A fist cannot reproduce. They reap, they do not sow. It should be impossible for a Fist of Khonshu to be able to have a child. Telling him that he probably is going to want to suit up. The two of them head out. Picking back up with our werewolves, Jack Russell is telling Moon Knight's daughter about the prophecy, about the Darkhold. And while she believes that the prophecy is dumb and that you probably shouldn't be following things in some kind of book, he once thought that as well, but he has seen how prophecy works. He dare not tempt fate. He plans to fulfill this prophecy, even being the king of all wolves. Even a king bends the knee to fate. As they prepare for the arrival of Moon Knight, we have Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon making their way directly to their location. Now, Hunter's Moon believes that this should be impossible, that he shouldn't be able to sire any children, that this daughter, she should not exist. But Hunter's Moon has said it himself. There is something wrong with Moon Knight. Some reason Khonshu didn't build him right. He doesn't have a head full of dead fist memories like he does. Regardless of the prophecy, regardless of whatever the case may be, Moon Knight's daughter is in there and he is going to save her, driving the car right through the front freaking door. He sends the werewolves to attack, having a bomb made up of silver spoons and everything you can think of. These silver spoons, these silver utensils, they are used as shrapnel with the explosion. As the Fists of Khonshu enter the room, he lets them know that he wants his daughter back and he wants her now. Of course, they're not giving her up easily, so the battle ensues. As the Fists of Khonshu lay down some hate, it doesn't take long for them to cut their way through. And while they are going through here, Hunter's Moon lets it be known that your daughter, she is not a priority. In fact, your daughter should not exist. Her life represents a threat to our father's, our God's life. If Moon Knight is killed, that is one part of the prophecy that is fulfilled. This is something that Hunter's Moon cannot allow. But Moon Knight lets him know that if he kills me, it doesn't mean anything. Not if he doesn't have my daughter. You call yourself my brother, then go look for your niece. Go protect her. Go make sure that she is safe. As Hunter's Moon makes his way through this building, that is when the god Khonshu begins to speak to him, letting him know that he knows exactly what he has to do. The girl cannot be allowed to live. And while Hunter's Moon lets the god know that this isn't a just thing to do, he doesn't want to question Khonshu. Kicking down a door, this is where he sees her, believing that maybe this is her dad at first. This is when she recognizes that this is not her father. On another side of the house, this is where we have Jack Russell and we have Moon Knight going at one another. The battle ensues, letting Moon Knight know that he plans to free them from the curse that they never asked for, driven mad by the god Khonshu, also that they could be his soldiers, policed by his fists with blades of silver. And while Jack Russell, he doesn't want to kill Moon Knight, he will do what he has to do for his people, with Hunter's Moon standing in front of Moon Knight's daughter, Khonshu telling him to do it, to take that blade and end her life. He decides to do something else, taking her into the other room, letting Jack Russell know that if you kill him, if you kill Moon Knight, the girl dies, because he needs to turn the girl, anoint her with the blood of her father under the planet alignment, and then transfer her the curse. She is the weapon that needs to be forged, making Jack go back to his human form, saying that if this girl dies, there will never be another. She is an aberration. She is something that should not exist, which means if this girl dies, you will never get another chance. He was going to pass the werewolf curse onto her so that she could end it. it. She could save his people. And while that may make him a monster, the monster Khonshu has made them, made all of them, but she would live. This is when Moon Knight's daughter lets it be known that we need to stop, that nobody needs to kill anybody. Jack Russell didn't hurt her. His prophecy didn't come true. Khonshu is safe. Why can't we all just call it a night? Why can't we all just go in our own directions? That the planets are no longer aligned. What he needed to do, at least for tonight, it can no longer be done. He has run out of time. Khonshu is furious with Hunter's Moon, letting him know that you have ignored my order. I told you to kill her, but Moon Knight says that she is an innocent. In fact, she is your granddaughter, your only granddaughter. Tonight, her bravery does you credit. And Moon Knight, he personally doesn't care. Kill Khonshu, don't kill Khonshu. He doesn't really bother with that. What he cares about is if you come around my daughter again, letting Jack know that if our paths ever cross again, he promises that he will kill him. And that time, his daughter won't be there to save the day. And so they go in their opposite directions, bringing his daughter back to Marlene. Back at the Moon Knight mission, he tells Marlene that you guys could stay here. You could stay here in the Midnight mission and I could protect you. But she knows that his life is Moon Knight. It cannot be separate. He cannot be a father. Not in the way that he should be. Not in the way that he needs to be. And while she knows that her daughter and her are very much loved by Mark, he can't do what needs to be done. Not while he has to worry about them. And for Moon Knight, this is a heavy blow. Usually they aren't on the top of his mind. Usually he is focused on the mission. But he cannot help but feel like a bad father. Unable to protect her, unable to have her under the same roof. These are the trials and tribulations of Moon Knight. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with what is currently going on in the Moon Knight series. It's definitely taking place inside the continuity. More than likely it's taking place before issue number 16 of Moon Knight, because if you read that issue, you know what happens. But we have Hunter's Moon, we have Reese, Soldier doesn't make an appearance in this one, but we do have Jack Russell. And he's not necessarily doing evil things. He is simply trying to remove the werewolf curse. To do so, he has to put the curse onto a little girl. This in fact does make him a monster, but he feels as if he has no other option but to do this. Obviously it has failed, but it is not going to be the last time that Jack Russell tries to do so. The planets will align again, and when that happens, Moon Knight will be there to meet him. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything currently going on with Moon Knight, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with that series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.